back. I'm back. F1 is back. That's right, people. The Australian Grand Prix was insane. I don't even know the words. I'm trying 3 words in one. It was crazy. It was all that. We're going to get to it right now. I'm SK, of course. This is F1 P1 Life. Let's get started. So first and foremost, before we get into what actually happened, here's just the rundown, the order of things. P1, Lando Norris, that's right, followed by Max Verstappen and George Russell rounded out the podium, that's right. Then we had Kimi Antonelli, Alex Albon, Lance Stroll, Hulkenberg, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, and Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, I mean, that was the top 10 finishing order. Crazy. Okay, so before things even got underway, Hajar found his way into a barrier, and it was already from there, yellow flag, trundling around again. So, you know, the first few laps were kind of dull, but not really, because it was already getting spicy and you already knew it was going to be something special. And the rain did not disappoint. It was one of those rain GPs where it wasn't just full on buckets the whole time. It was just kind of waving and going with different intermittent amount of like mist to light rain to a little harder. It was something to behold. So within 2 laps, I think we saw Piastri stuck in the grass, Norris spun, Verstappen took the lead, which was not happening for the whole race. Bortoleto was off, Lawson into the barriers, Leclerc spinned, and Norris retakes the lead. That was just 2 laps of part of this Grand Prix. It was great beginning to end. If anybody said there was a point where, you know, it was just your business as usual and stuff, I mean, there always has to be a couple laps where people are just going around and there's not really a change too much. But for the most part, it was intense. It was action-packed, and it definitely did not disappoint for the beginning opener of the season, for just what we hoped for Australia to begin with. And yeah, so with that said, I have to go right into the Muppet Awards.
You Muppet. You Muppet. You Muppet.
You freaking Muppet.
Yeah, so you probably heard me mention some of these people already, and there was I was wondering how I was going to do for the Muppet Award list, and I mean, these people did not disappoint. I got almost too many to count. So I'm just going to break it out there. I think I got about 5 total that I actually put on the list, so here we go. First, Hajar, going off on the warm-up lap. Now, myself included, along with I think the entire F1 world, felt bad for this kid. I mean, you saw it on his face. You didn't see it on his face. You saw it like from his helmet reactions, really, for the most part. But I mean, you just felt bad for the kid. Everybody did. Even Hamilton's dad came over and gave him some words of encouragement, and that was a big like deal on, you know, Twitter and Instagram and everything. And I see why. I mean, it was really great of him to do that. I think everybody except for like Helmut Marko, who had some pretty aggressive words towards him, but I mean, that's Marco, I guess, right? But it's the Muppet Award anyway, because it was his chance to debut and do something well. The RB was running well, and it was just a clear rookie mistake, and so I feel bad in that respect for him. But hey, I mean, that was a Muppet move, and it was. So next on the list, I'm going to put Alonso, because Alonso is just such a high caliber driver. He's one of those drivers like you saw Leclerc, he spun. You see Max Verstappen and Hamilton usually will go off and still able to recover. But I put him on the list and then I took him off, and I'll tell you why. So he's not really part of the Muppets Awards, but he was right there. The car had some pace, at least for the conditions that were there, okay? You saw Lance Stroll finish pretty well. So there could have been some really good points for Aston. The reason why I took him off is because if you saw the clips of it as they replayed, and I went back and watched it again, he was following a couple cars through that turn. I don't know if it's turn 9. I might be wrong in that, but the little S right there. And so what was happening was a lot of people were catching that gravel there. He went behind 2 other drivers, you know, following in the driving order that they were in, and they both went off and they both dumped some gravel onto the track. Now, at this point, we're halfway through. There's water on the track. It's been raining and stuff. So he didn't even go off as much as the first two he just followed. But because they dumped that gravel right there and there wasn't a chance for some cars to come and move this and move that, he got the brunt of it all. So between his little bit of a touch on the gravel and everything that was there, it just sent him. And the wall's right there afterwards. So, mini Muppet Award, but not really. Now, I do want to say another Muppet Award is going to Ferrari. The Ferrari drivers were doing pretty well with what they had. They were moving up. They were making some effort. Hamilton was a little behind Leclerc the whole time, but not terribly. And for getting on top of everything, K1, 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 K1. I don't know if Hamilton knows, but he needs to hit that K1. That was a running meme. If you don't know, watch the show or watch the GP at least, or check out Instagram, I guess. But anyway, so beyond all that, yes, they had a chance to move up the order when things were really changing. But I think it was Lawson that went off, and then that was the moment that everybody was either pitting and then they were going through. I think that was the moment. But come on, they just bumbled that strategy, and that's not really what we've seen from Ferrari as of late. And I hope that's one and done. They got it out their system, and let's get back to the Fred Vasseur, domination of that team and high-end strategy. There was so much going on. It's the first GP of the year, but they had a chance to bring home a good number of points. I mean, they were like 5th and 7th for a while, 6th and 8th kind of thing. So they could have easily ended up being like 4th and 5th, that sort of thing, bringing home some solid points. And instead they ended up It was 8th and 10th. I mean, so it wasn't a good look for Ferrari. They got a Muppet Award. But beyond that, the other one's going to be Lawson, because as you heard, he went off. Now, he made it 80% of the race. Now, mind you, he was on, I'm pretty sure, medium tires, and the rain just started coming. But Max Verstappen was at the point where he just pitted. I know he had to know that it was time to pit as well, just from his own racecraft mind, and as well as I'm sure he's getting information from the engineers and so forth, like, hey, we're about to box, like it's happening. He should have just been tiptoeing around. I know you don't want to lose the temp out of the tires because that's even worse, but he's not a full-fledged rookie. He's had races before, and this was just his time to shine, and he could have got it done, and he didn't. So, Muppet Award. But for the final and winner of the Muppet Awards, Oscar Piastri. Yeah, that's right. He blew it. He blew it. If he wasn't following the other papaya car so closely, he had a chance to win this race. He was right there. He was pushing Lando, trying to overtake, and Lando finally goes off. That was his moment. Verstappen couldn't make it past. Well, he wouldn't have been able to hold it off because you saw what happened. Lando retook the lead. But that was his moment. And instead, he went from favorite home race hero to almost zero. He ended up getting to come back a little bit. I give him props for not letting the car DNF, for getting even those couple of points, because you don't know what that means come race 23, 24. And you don't want to not finish in front of your home Grand Prix. So there's points and respect for that. But Muppet. Honorable mentions. I want to mention Albon. Yes, that's right, because while his more seasoned new partner and teammate, Carlos Sainz, went off, he did not. And he was able to bring the car home, and he was able to bring them some good points. P5, I mean, that's solid right there. That is solid for Williams off the gate, and I'm just so happy for them. And I'm happy for Carlos Sainz, not what happened to him, but to know that their car in conditions can bring results like that if they're there and they're ready to capitalize, especially. So I think it's going to be a pretty good season from them, and just congrats to Albon for that. Pardon me. Now, Antonelli, he also deserves some praise, because P4 on his debut race. I mean, he's up there with some of the greats like Hamilton, like I think it was like Hulkenberg. You know what I mean? Like some of the others, or maybe Hulkenberg, Magnussen. I think got P3 when he first started. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's up there, but more than anything, he did go off. I think what was it? Was it Canada or Monza? Somebody put in the comments, but where he went off, and I feel like it was Canada. And it just wasn't really good look, and then it sent some doubts in there, and then you got to go into the season break and stuff. So just to come out the gates, do fairly well throughout the weekend overall, even though it wasn't his best. But what matters is Sunday, and he showed up and he showed out. And P4, man, congrats. That's good for Mercedes and really good for Antonelli. And I'm sure that kind of has Russell feeling good, but also like, man, this kid got pace. Like, yeah, you got to bring it. So that's that. What I do want to talk about really quick, 30 seconds, is the FIA is coming back down on the mini DRS again. I thought this was already kind of done and done. Maybe not going to be brought up towards more of the middle of the season, if anything, but they're already on it. So I don't know what that means for the Chinese Grand Prix, which coming up, but we shall see. Does that mean the Papaya team is still going to hold the advantage? I have no idea. I don't know the full extent of it. I still need to look into some of those directives from the FIA and kind of hear some of the analytics and what other people in the industry have to say. But I do surmise that they're still, because I think a lot of the other teams were trying to kind of capitalize on that, especially throughout this new start of this year. I'm sure they tried to. So if some others kind of gained a little bit as well, it's not going to be as significant of a drop, that sort of thing. But we shall see. That's news. And I do want to talk about really quickly V10s. I mean, that is all the talk right now. Well, not all the talk, but it's just here and there, and you just can't drop it. So I'm not going to talk about it too much, other than it's something that people are talking about and almost seems like actually is kind of serious within the Formula One community. So maybe it can actually happen. I think that would be great. And what does that mean for actual production cars too? Because you can see everything's kind of getting electrified, you know what I mean, hybridized with V6s and V4s. So can they do something with the V10 and really bring it back to life? You know what I mean? Not that they're all gone, but you know what I mean. I mean, you saw Porsche right now with the six-stroke six-cylinder. I mean, anything is possible. So I think that's really cool. And man, that would be a sight to see. Anyway, that's what I have. The Australian Grand Prix is great, and we're already back out in the game. I mean, I love F1 season. It's so great. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, smash that notification button for me. Stay tuned, because I'll be releasing more videos all the different videos. Even when there's a week off, I'll still be posting. So check it out. Leave those comments.